Alright guys, here's a look of it all stock. Picked up this bike from Let's Ride, this GasGas EC300. Welcome back to the build, guys. So this is the plastic stock fittings that come on the tank. And you'll want to get these hose clamps off, and we're going to replace these. And how you do it is you got to file these suckers off. You can use a grinder, but for the one on the bike it's kind of hard to get to. Then you pry it off with a screwdriver, and then you're going to reuse this hose. This is the metal one that you pick up. It's aluminum. And you'll get some new hose clamps with that. It comes with it. This is a heavy duty female connector. You can see the plastic one is a little crummy. And this is the zip tie inline fuel filter. A couple people make those. And you're just going to replace all that. This is the throttle body. We're pulling this sucker out. You're going to want to measure that gap and make sure you write that number down. You could follow the TSP YouTube video on how to do this, but basically we're heating it up. We're breaking down that Loctite in there, and we're gonna take out this Allen. So I didn't have the special long Allen, so you can see I'm just using the Allen on its side and a little crescent wrench to loosen it up. So I'm testing it every 15 seconds or so and seeing when it gets loose enough to be able to take out. Then you just don't want to push it. It doesn't want to come out, heat it up more. And you could actually use liquid stuff to break that down as well. You can see I got it all installed there. That's the thumb screw that I just put in. So now I can change my idle, which I change a lot on the trail depending on the situation. So we're priming the fuel pump now since we popped off the throttle body. And how you do that, you get a little dongle, you hold the throttle open, you release it, and you can hear it priming. It goes for about 20 seconds or so, it does this clicking thing, and that's pumping oil in to the motor and getting any bubbles out of it.
Oh crap.
Accidentally broke my girlfriend's windshield at night, but you can see the Trailbound sticker held it together still. That was a bummer. So I don't really know how people run flags, because you can see I already snapped the end of that throttle tube, crashing. Super annoying. I'm throwing in the tapped bar ends. I sell these on the Trailbound site, and this makes the full wrap handguards fit way better, or lock on way better. You can see this aluminum insert. You throw some Loctite on there. You use the included bolt with it, and it just makes it super strong. Now we're protecting the forks. I also sell these fork shrinks, and they just melt on, or you heat them up, they shrink on, they go around the tube, leaves them all black and sick looking, except where the triple clamps goes. And the bottom ones are sticky, but the top ones just shrink, so you can still pull the fork on and off. Got the Ballpoint radiator guards in red. This looks sick on the GasGas. This is the new design of the bulletproof disc guard. You can see they grinded it down here, and it makes it a lot easier to get a T-handle into that area. Before you had to pull that down. But you can see it's a little sideways, and I'm not really liking the fit of that. So I'm actually just going to modify that a little bit. My girlfriend said, hey, you could just use the Torx to do it, but I don't really buy that. I like to use my T-handles. Just
I do not condone this.
Yeah, Dylan doesn't condone grinding anything on the dirt bike, but I like modifying stuff, making it my own, making it work better. So that's what we're doing here, just grinding a little bit of aluminum away, enough so that we can get the T-handle in there cleanly and not have to worry about using different tools. You can see it got a little better fit, makes it fit a lot better. So we're gonna go with that. So unfortunately I can't get the Trail Jammers case guards that I normally run on here because of the star pattern, but I'm worried about that gap right where the brake pedal goes, because look at, that's like a pretty easy area to have a rock hit the brake pedal and hit the case. So I don't know about that. Pulling the the frame stops out. That makes it turn a lot sharper. You can see it does not hit on the radiators, and that's perfect. So now you can turn sharper on those switchbacks. If you're a fast guy, hitting desert stuff, probably don't do this, but for technical single track, I think it's totally fine. I've never had an issue with it, but it definitely gives you an advantage. They got rid of the little hose thing, and they gave you the old school way where it just goes in a triple clamp, which is kind of lame. I really like the side way. And that's because I run the pad pack on the handlebars. And so now this kind of gets in the way of that. So I'm going to just figure out a way to tuck that back. I think just tucking it behind that cable is going to work fine. And then we'll mount the pad pack on there how we normally do. So I've got the Trailtech KTM fan, and it has a temperature gauge at the top, but the GasGas shrouds covers it, unfortunately. So I'm going to go back to the normal Trailtech one, which has the fan below. And, you know, the only disadvantage, you just have to kind of bend down a little bit more to look at it. Normally I just plug the Trailtech fan into the wiring harness, but there's a new plug on these TPIs, and this is kind of the older fan. So I'm going to have to kind of figure out how to hack that together. So here's what we got going on. I've got these cables into a fuse, and then it runs through the frame. And I got these kind of janky connectors. They're not my favorite connectors. I was out of the good marine ones, but you can see connected into the fan, and the fan is set to 195. So I'm going to test it using a heat gun, and you just put it by the temperature probe, and when you get to 195 you can see it jump up, and if the fan goes, then you're in luck. It works. So you turn it off, let it cool down. So we got the bike on the side, and we're going in. So we got that pesky power valve that's been an issue on previous bikes. This is the 2021 GasGas. We got good news, guys. Don't have to replace this. You can see it's the good one that has rubber on it. That's like the older version. I think 2019 had them. So you buy 3 pieces, and one's plastic and 2 are rubber. So if you have a 2020, you'll want to buy this older piece to fit into there, and it prevents the leaking of the power valve right there. But we can see in this 2021 that they took note and they fixed it. They didn't use the full plastic one that 2020 had. But we'll keep an eye on this, make sure it works. But if you want to see the parts number, if you have a leaky power valve, then these are the ones you want. 2 of those and 1 of those guys. Ty on Instagram started doing this drain the swamp thing a couple months ago, and you can see now in these GasGases they actually have that. So when you pressure wash, mud doesn't kind of compile in there and just stay. So it stays a little bit cleaner, just a little bit nicer thing. So what I'm doing here is I'm switching my starter, the kill switch. I like the left side to be the starter. So it's a little weird in these newer TPI styles where to find the cable. It's a little short. You just have to unplug it and pull it out of the housing altogether, and that gives you a little bit more slack, and then you just plug it back in. So it's just plug and play if you guys want to do this. And what it allows you to do is pull in the clutch, hit the starter, give it gas. A lot easier when it's on the left. Digging into big boxes here. So got me a Freshy Fatty and a 2.0 silencer. I did want the 2.1 turbine core, but right now they're just out of stock with the pandemic, so I'm going back to my old trusty 2.0. That's what I used to always run. So I'm going to run it on this bike. Got the Fatty on there. It's going to be a lot better than that stock one. The stock one's just too thin, and I really like the power curve of the FMF pipes. You can see the stock GasGas pipe versus the FMF 2.0. You can see it's a lot smaller, more compact. It's a good handle to pick the bike up from. It's nice and sturdy, and it's definitely lighter. And it also has a spark arrestor, so that's kind of the main reason why I'm putting it on, but there's a lot of other benefits too. Loving the bike with that shiny pipe. So that's the build. Hope you guys liked it. I'll do another video on how the first ride goes, and hope you guys liked it. If you have any questions about the GasGas, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys.